I've always wanted to do that. Welcome to our first in-person city council meeting since March of 2020. I want to welcome everybody to our regular scheduled city council meeting Monday, October 10th, 2022. It's an honor to have everybody back in person. Before we even start, I just want to say thank you to the staff and everyone to make this possible so we can have great access to both online and in person on Filipino American History Month. And wow, this is crazy not being able to, or finally being able to see people instead of just black boxes, and seeing our staff in person all together with this very, very important meeting today. So I call to order this meeting. Here. And so there's many ways to attend virtually. So if you want, for those that are online, you could attend this meeting virtually through https://bit.ly/dalycity/OCT10 Zoom, or you could watch us on Comcast Channel 27 at www.youtube.com/dalycity video meetings, or you can hit us up on www.dalycity.org/agendas. And with that, I would like to call to order, and now we will stand for the pledge. Or pledge the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Ms. City Clerk, I'll pass the mic to you for roll call.
Present.
Mr. Sylvester.
Len Sylvester, present.
Mr. Buenaventura.
Present.
Ms. Manalo.
Present.
Dr. Rod.
Present. Thank you, Ms. City Clerk. We have a couple of presentations today honoring agenda item number 1, honoring the creators of the Greetings from Daly City mural in Top of the Hill. So with that, we have certificates for those that have been able to drive through here. Or we're a little late. Should we pause and move to the next agenda item? If you're not here?
I would just call whoever's here.
Okay. We'll just go ahead and call whoever's here. And this is in recognition for your outstanding contribution to public art in Daly City. On behalf of a grateful community, the City of Daly City extends heartfelt gratitude to Grizz Art for your hard work and dedication to the Top of the Hill mural project. And we have multiple people here from Grizz Art, and I'll just go ahead one by one that are here because we have a packed agenda, and I just want to be courteous of time. So, Jess Contreras. Jess, we'll go over here. Mic check, mic check. Can everybody hear me? Yeah? Okay. I feel like I'm gonna sing like it's karaoke night or something. Oh, congratulations. Next up we have Arvin Espada. I don't know if we have to pause for a picture. I forgot how to do this.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. I just like riding a bike, but... So Jess, don't go too far. Don't be shy. Thank you, Annette. We have Ethan Ferreira. Ethan. Oh, thank you. We also have Daniel Cotelli. Daniel's not here. But give him a round of applause. Demi Lyson. Demi, come on down. The price is right over here. Come here for the showcase. We should have like music, like dun, 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 dun. Where's my DJ? Christina Ruano. Congratulations, Christina. We have Aaron Sebastian. We also have Shayna Wu. Shayna, come on down. I love your jacket, by the way. And we also have Wesley Wu. Wesley. Suzanne Conline? Kenline, my bad. Donna Carusis. Donna's here. Donna here? Okay. All right. Patricia Harriot? Not here? Okay. We also have Daly City Mitsubishi. Anybody representing Daly City Mitsubishi? No? Okay. You're here in spirit, Daly City Mitsubishi. Dragonfly Community Artists. Thank you so much. Bay Area Mural Program, BAMP. BAMP is not here. And then one of the people that planted the seeds and saw it grow, Victoria Magbilang. So one of the reasons why we wanted to recognize the artists, the funders, and also the mentors that put this together was, one, I wanted to congratulate them in person and in City Hall. And then also I want to give y'all the flowers and the mic. I want to say a couple of words. So Victoria.
Thank you so much. There's too many people to thank for everything. Dragonfly for funding this. That was huge. The Art Club for working so hard. I'm sorry that Donna and Patricia weren't able to be here tonight, but they were the owners of the building. We couldn't have painted on the building without their permission. Also Daly City Mitsubishi. Oh my gosh, who else am I forgetting? Well, Suzanne Kenline, of course. I mean, when I first had this idea, I really wanted the students from Jefferson High School to have something to be proud of. I'm a Jefferson parent, very proud. I know that's an amazing school, and it really doesn't get the credit it deserves for being such a great school. So look at these fantastic students. Their art club advisor was willing to put in the extra work. So this is, it's a huge thing, and we're so happy to be here. But in addition to thanking City Council for having us here, I want to give a really extra big shout out to Mayor Das Magboal, because besides this mural, every single time I have an art project that I am looking for support from the city, he's right there. I barely have to ask. The Daly City Youth Poet Laureate Program, the DCPLA's Art and Lit Fest that's happening in November. Like, all I have to do is be like, Dr. Rod, will you come? And he's like, I'm there. He even read one of his own poems at the Daly City Youth Poet Laureate commencement. So thank you for always supporting the arts without hesitation and enthusiastically.
I want to give a shout out to not only Victoria, but also our supervisors at the school, at Jefferson Union High School District. They helped me coordinate this and get approval and get people on campus so that they could teach these kiddos after school, and basically tying all the ends together through Zoom meetings. And it takes a lot of work to get kids, to get adults on campus with kids in public schools, and they made it happen. there was hardly ever a no said. The kids are very enthusiastic artists. Shauna, our president, you're wonderful. You came to me 4 years ago and asked to create this wonderful club. And you've been surrounded by supportive students who want to see you successful. And it's such a wonderful endeavor to watch. Demi, you're a wonderful right-hand person for Shauna. You're always there. You've got her back. You working on those slides with her, giving her creative energy. Christina, Arvin, thank you very much for being here tonight and for helping us with the mural, the design, the paint, and again, all your positive energy. Thank you. And of course, we wouldn't be here without Dragonfly. This community arts program, Dragonfly, James, it's to the moon and back again. It's something phenomenal, letting these kids have a forum and a voice. And between you and Victoria, you two are superstars. Yeah, we got a lot done. Thank you.
I won't take up too much of your time, but I guess I want to thank all the same people, but thank you to the community for letting us be here and do this. And Daly City welcomed us. We're still a very young arts organization, and our mission is 100% free arts education in San Mateo County. So we are hoping we're going to do more stuff in Daly City soon. So hopefully he'll be along with the ride with us. So any suggestions, let us know. So thank you so much, everyone.
I would be remiss if I didn't get the youth to have and speak about the process. So would you like to say some words?
Sure. Okay. Hi, my name is Shauna Wu. As Ms. Kenline said, I'm the president of Art Club. So since we started around last year, the end of last year, it was such an amazing opportunity by having Victoria help us. So we went through a lot towards going online and also going in person. So going to have the project, working on it during the summer was a really, really fun experience. So I would like to thank everybody here since we've been working really hard since the beginning. So I would like to thank everybody here also for going here and supporting us. Thank you.
All right. Did we already take our picture?
Can we have them stand next to you up there?
Want me to? Yeah, I was gonna go down there. Okay.
Oh, you want him?
You guys go up. Four here, four there. Mayor in the middle.
Stay up. Or you want,
Go up. Yeah, very good. If you're comfortable taking off your mask so we can see your picture and face. There you go. Perfect.
You can't just take it out.
Yeah.
And everybody hold their breath on there. Just joking.
Okay, everyone look at me for 1 second. This is going on Facebook on the city. Thank you.
Don't forget to
Do
tag me,
you
Steve.
mind doing one for the school district?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Ready? Go. Thanks. Thank you.
I'm just gonna leave the mic. Somebody. We're not done yet. So, it's part of my workout for today.
I'd like to make a comment, if I may.
Oh yeah, I would like to open this up to my colleagues for comments.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Glenn Sylvester. You know, I live in the area, and I was driving, and when I saw this magnificent piece of art, I had to take a second look. Such a beautiful masterpiece. And Victoria, you had made mention about did you get everybody? And when I thought of the mural, one thing came to mind. And I'm sure our Arts and Culture Commission had something to do with this as well. So I'd like to give kudos to Daly City's Art and Culture Commission for the collaboration. Thank you, Daly City Mitsubishi, and all the folks who participated in that work of art. It takes something to kind of express yourself. And I think this is a meaningful project rather than graffitiing or putting something up on walls. So I'd like to thank you all. Thank you very much. Great job. And as the gentleman says, we hope to see more in Daly City. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
Right.
Thank you. Yeah, Victoria, when they say persistence pays off, I have to say that describes you. Because when you came up with the idea and to involve our students at our Jefferson, and I see Kalima in the back and Andy was here, our school board, this is what community is about. To inspire those young students. We have so much talent here, and to give them this opportunity, especially having overgone COVID, all the direction, all the partners, everyone with the funding, and this is just the beginning. And to see that come to fruition in relatively a short period of time, because I know that you are a person that's good for your word, and you stick to it, you don't deviate. When one person tells you no at a building, you went to another building, and look where it is today. And that was relatively, I thought, a pretty short period of time. And to see that develop, now it'll inspire more people in our community that would wish to participate and have, I know you're already on the ground looking for other sides of our building for it to express what we are in Daly City, who we are in Daly City, to see the beautiful homes, and that the students designed it. That, to me, tells you what we have here. And this is just the beginning. Our JUHSD and Tony Presta and everyone in the community, amazingly, this is just the beginning. There's not enough words for everybody, and that's what a community is about, reflective of who we are, what we stand for, and that we're all together inclusively. And so thank you very much from the bottom of my heart, and I look forward to more projects. And I know you're on the ground, persistence, and I know that pays off, and you never give up, and you never grizz art students. You guys are awesome. Awesome, all of you. Some of you couldn't come tonight, but kudos to all of you. And thank you to all the partners. I see you standing in the back. So thank you very much, Mitsubishi and everyone. Thank you very much. Look forward to more.
Thank you. Are there any other comments? Councilmember Manalo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. What an amazing art piece. And to the Jefferson Grizzlies, congratulations. I am a proud alumni. It gives me great pride to see that an idea of starting a club came from a student, and then bringing forth an idea, bringing the mural right there at top of the hill is so beautiful. I am really grateful to the young people who've stepped up and all the partners who's brought this together. As you go and drive up top of the hill, it's really a beaming light up there. And so huge kudos to the youth. I see our partners there in the Jefferson Union High School District, Kalima, Andy, and is that Rosie in the back? Hello. And our superintendent, Tony Presta. It's beautiful to see collaborations, and to see this art piece right there at top of the hill is really a beaming light. And so we look forward to many more projects the students will bring forth. And once again, go Grizzlies.
Go ahead, Vice Mayor.
So this is the kind of project that I have been wondering if we would ever somehow manage to create as a city. And I think, for me, what I think this is going to do, it's going to put us on the map. And I've already seen people who go at the location and actually take pictures, because it's becoming somewhat of an icon. And this is exactly the kind of thing, I mean, the mural captured the very essence of Daly City with the colors, the architecture, the housing. And so I'm just so proud of the way this thing was done and put together in a very thoughtful, meaningful way that really does reflect Daly City. And I hope you guys put it on a t-shirt, because I think you're gonna make a lot of money if you get something like this done. So thank you. With gratitude, we are a grateful city for your project. Thank you.
I think that when we look at that mural, I got to quote one of my mentors that's in the crowd, Dr. Allison Tintianco Cubales. And when we were talking about culture, culture is about seeing, being, and doing. It's what you see, it's what you be, and what you do. And when I did the speech about a month ago about this mural, I feel like these murals are like tattoos of our city. And when people get tattoos, usually that's the internal expressed through the external, through their skin. And that's what this mural represented, right? It represented different symbols of the city. It represented our community. And, you know, I hope this is the first of many murals that will happen in Daly City. Because I think that when we have different murals, it adds to understanding who we are, what we're about, and what we do in this city. So congratulations to all the partners for this project, and give them a round of applause again. All right, so moving on to our agenda number 2, proclaiming October 2022 as Filipino American History Month. And I'll go ahead and read this proclamation. Filipino American History Month in Daly City, October 2022. Whereas the celebration of Filipino American History Month in October commemorates the first recorded presence of Filipinos in the continental United States, which occurred in October 18, 1587, when the Luzones Indios came ashore from the Spanish galleon Nuestra Señora de Esperanza and landed at what is now Morro Bay, California. Whereas in 2009, U.S. Congress recognized October as Filipino American History Month in the United States. Various states, counties, and cities in the U.S. have established proclamations and resolutions declaring the observance of Filipino American History Month. Whereas the late Dr. Fred Cordova, along with his wife, Filipino American National Historic Society founder Dr. Dorothy Ligao Cordova, first introduced October as Filipino American History Month in 1992 with a resolution from FON's National Board of Trustees marking the 30th anniversary of Filipino American History Month celebration. Whereas the city of Daly City commemorates Filipino American History Month each October, a month-long observance to honor and share the rich tapestry of Filipino American art, history, culture, and identity. And whereas this year, the Daly City community celebrated Filipino American History Month with Kasayahan sa Daly City on Saturday, October 8th, 2022 from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m., featuring music, dance, crafts, local Filipino vendors, and delicious Fil-Am cuisine. And whereas the entertainment lineup included performances by the legendary Ruby Ibarra, Drop in Harmony, DJ Qbert, Maddie B, Melvin Sings, Vince A, Nate Ginto, Kulintang Dialect, Mabuhay Folkloric Society, Shogun V, CJ Franquera, Giselle, and many others. And whereas Daly City's Department of Library and Recreation Services has partnered with the Filipino Bayanihan Resource Center to help further develop Kasayahan sa Daly City into Daly City's signature community festival and to provide the event in person for the first time since 2019 to the community. And whereas Daly City's Department of Library and Recreation Services has curated a selection of titles by and about Filipinos and Filipino Americans for adults, teens, and children. And whereas, along with Neil Frank R. Ferreira, Consul General of the Republic of the Philippines in San Francisco, the city of Daly City encourages youth to embrace the Spark, Connect, Empower movement within the Filipino American community to strengthen familial and ancestral connections with the Philippines. And now, therefore, I, Roderick Das Magbual, and members of the City Council of Daly City do hereby proclaim the month of October 2022 as Filipino American History Month in Daly City, signed and sealed by the Mayor and City Council of the City of Daly City on this day, 10th day of October 2022. And we have a few people here to honor. So we'll go ahead and honor first Chel Gia from Chelogs. I know that she was not here to attend today, but I just want to honor her and her business, Chelogs, which has different restaurants around Daly City and San Francisco. When we talk about Filipino food, I remember her telling me a story about when people thought that Filipino American food was not going to be popular, or she kept on with it. And she was able to expand her franchise, expand it, own her own spot on Mission Street, and she has delicious food for the general community. Okay, so shout out to you, Jill. I know you're out there in the virtual world or somewhere out outside of Daly City, so I just want to honor you. Next up, I want to honor Clint Guerona from Charles Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. So Clint, if you would like to come up. Leilani, I think I might need that microphone once again. Hello? Check, check. 1, 2. Hello? Okay. We also have, let's see, chair. 1, 2, 3. And we also have folks from the Westlake School of Performing Arts. And I just want to go ahead and just talk about how this institution in Daly City has been around for more than 30 years. And one of the first times I ever got a chance to go up on and see one of the productions was the Nutcracker. And there's many young people right now that are at the studio working so hard like professionals. And when I had my first experience going up to a WSPA event, such as the Nutcracker, people thought, my expectation was that, oh, it's just gonna be some cute little kids doing some really cool tricks. But when you go up there, the professionality, the presence, their skill level is on another level. And what was more important too is that when we look at the Nutcracker, traditionally, you see people that do not look like us on stage. And to me, I felt like that was pretty radical and revolutionary to see myself in a narrative that we see yearly, but to see ourselves in our bodies, our people on that stage doing what they're doing. And I want to come up here and introduce the director, Malu Rivera Peoples. And they've been there forever, 30 years. And one thing that I've also wanted to talk, what I also want to say is just nationally recognized. I've been able to have the privilege, along with my daughter, to travel around the United States, New York, to around the Bay Area, to Phoenix, and the recognition that they have, the expertise that they have. It's top notch. Top notch. You wouldn't think, and then they're competing against other institutions and other dance studios that have way more resources than WSPA. And what WSPA brings out than other studios is that heart, that soul, and that grit, and that beauty, all mixed into one on that stage. So the other person I want to also honor is Tina Vargas. Miss Tina. And last but not least, when we talk about contemporary, like Filipino American hip hop, dance, whatever you see, from everything from what you see in dance competitions, from World of Dance to hip hop dancing on stage. This person is on the cutting edge, innovation, and he's leading a whole new generation of hip hop dancers. He's one of the members of one of the most prestigious dance crews called the Kinjas. And if you have never seen it, Google them. He leads all these different organizations, the company, APT, you name it. He's had his fingerprints all over the map when it comes to dance choreography and hip hop dance. So I want to introduce Mr. Pat Cruz. Am I missing anybody else? I forgot my list.
Yeah, Clint, Guerona.
Oh.
Oh, no.
I did. That was the first one.
Patrick Rivera Cruz.
Oh, yeah.
terms of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, if you don't know the history behind a lot of the MMA, a lot of people see that as this weekend war pay-per-view, but the roots of that pay-per-view comes from the Gracie family. And so when we talk about bully-proof martial arts, and Clint's mentored generations of people through Daly City. And when I go to my classrooms and I mention, oh, I have my son, he's doing like jiu-jitsu, and then I have handfuls of kids that are like, oh my God, I did that when I was in middle school. He'll love it. And I was like, who's your teacher? Oh, it was Clint Guerona. I was like, okay. I see where the influences come, and I also want to respect Coach Valentino Cubales, because without him, he's mentored Clint. I first met Clint in Val's garage when I was doing jiu-jitsu, and to see all of us come up through the past couple of decades and what you have done for the Filipino American community is powerful in terms of movement, bodies, self-defense, the beauty and the expression of all that is powerful for our kids to gain the confidence, the purpose, and also you're influencing them and planting the seeds of what they're going to become in the future. So I want to just give this time for you all to go ahead and say a few words. I don't know who wants to go first.
First of all, we thank you very much, Dr. Rod, for this, and the council for all the support. As you have said, we've been here for 30 years now, and I don't think I've ever come across a more supportive and dedicated council to the arts. And piggybacking on all those artists who were honored today for the mural. Unlike dance, you have something historical to see, like around you, the architecture, an artist did this. You see it on print, but in dance, it's the live performance that makes it special. It can be on YouTube and on video, but there's nothing like experiencing the children and the artists on stage perform. So with that, I want to invite everybody to come and watch our next performance, which is Nutcracker. And also just to note that, yeah, we teach dance, but in every kind of discipline, it's like a sport. We build the character of our students who come out being achievers themselves. They have work ethic, they have discipline, they have dedication, they have commitment, and on top of that, they are creative, beautiful people. And without them, without arts in general, our lives would be very drab and gray. So yeah, I thank you all for the support, and I wish to stay in Daly City forever and with maybe a brand new building. So anyway, thank you so much.
Dr. Rod, I'd like to say thank you for this honor. I've been with WSPA for 25 years, and I've seen your children grow. And it's the inspiration of the children that makes us artists and continue the passion that we have. Without them, I think, as Ms. Malu would have said, we are boring and probably not as inspired as we are today. It's the children who brings the inspiration and the beauty and the passion through. And I think with your support and with the council support, we will continue to do that as long as we are in Daly City, and we will be provided with building, with a facility that until now that we're still in the same facility for a long time, and the children and the parents love coming to our facility, and we love doing what we're doing because of them. And we'd like to say thank you.
not going to repeat everything that was said. The last thing I'll maybe add to that is I started at the school. My mom founded the school. We're in our 32nd year of operation. I was 6 when it happened. I remember performing at the Westlake Shopping Center when there was a gazebo across from the pager stand. We've done all the different festivals. We have students from OLM, from Westmore, Jefferson, Shasta, Ben, MP Brown. Like, we're really, really rooted in this WSBA community and have been for so long. That is something we are very prideful of. Not on purpose, but I'm wearing our hoodie today. Daly City is on the hoodie. When we go to any competitions, we make that a part of where we are. We are announced to be not just from the Bay Area, but from this city specifically because of the support and how rooted we feel in the city and just the amazing things that we've got to experience by working with this community. So thank you so much for the support. We're going to continue to support the city. If you need a performance or any community events, where we're always involved and would love to help support in any type of way. So thank you so much.
Just real quickly, you know, of course, just want to thank everyone, of course, Rod and rest of the council members. It's just an honor to receive this recognition. And of course, those who attended here, of course, my wife, Sharon, my parents, some of our other instructors, Val, Terrence, Doug. Just thank you guys so much. It's just been an honor to share the art of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu with the whole community, and especially represent the Filipino American community through Jiu-Jitsu. You know, we actually just celebrated, or are celebrating, our 25th year of business, starting here in Daly City. And my master, Master Charles Gracie, just expressed that yesterday, how thankful he was, you know, just starting here, and then now we've grown all the way out to Nevada and all over California. But it is just an honor to provide instruction for our community through Jiu-Jitsu for strength, confidence, and safety, you know, for kids as young as 4 years old, all the way up to some of our law enforcement that represent all over the Bay Area. So yeah, just thank you to everyone, and it's been an honor. Thank you.
I guess it's picture time. And then after picture time, we'll open up for the colleagues. Yes. I feel like I need the whole song too now. Thank you. Everybody else up? Oh, there we go. And with that, I'll go ahead and open up to my colleagues while I'll walk up back to the main seat.
Mr. Mayor? Mr. Mayor? Yes. Wait for your acknowledgement.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I have to say, when somebody says 30 years, one person says 25 years, and then they all still look so young, I have to say. But bringing forth the disciplines of such a variety really has the essence of where I've been humble enough to be in many situations with the beautiful community where they have such natural given talent. But what you guys do is you transcend and you work on the discipline, and you work, and what it does is you give it all. It's not just giving dance. It's not just giving martial arts. It's not just giving these separate disciplines. It's connected. It's connected because the culture itself is the fabric. It's the foundation that has developed, and that what you have developed into these young people, and also our law enforcement and others in our community, even non-Filipinos have taken these classes, that it's a development of who they are. And then they go out and they can transcend, whether it's another type of art or whether it's a teacher or someone in our community. And they know they are loved. They know that they are nurtured beyond years. Because when you send people, and I know for a fact, to Juilliard, that is not just impressive. that tells you something, that the work ethic of that child and the family involvement is which is the Bahania spirit. I remember Flora Nicholas explained the definition of it, and although I'm not as versed in Tagalog, but I remember recently when she explained Baha and then what Nian means, it's the epitome of putting all the different disciplines together and then making it a community. No matter what the community is, it's reflective. And then, like the mayor said, to see it with reflective of different faces, they know they can do that. It gives them hope. And Daly City has that. And then you can't leave Daly City. You're not allowed. And that it can grow and nurture, and then given the support that it really deserves, because without growth and giving these young people this hope and foundation, it's just it's so beautiful. It's like a tree that grows. And they can go to New York as his daughter. They can go anywhere. It's limitless, limitless. They know they have no boundaries, whether it's, again, martial arts, even art, no matter what they do. So humble, grateful, great choices, and Salags. I happen to know the mother, Faye Hernandez, is a friend of mine, and I know that she's not here today, but proud mom that they got a new location, and we are just, this is a foundation. This is your foundation, and that you go out and say Daly City is very, very heartful. And you're just saying it, you say it with conviction and love. So thank you very much, and thanks to the mayor for the choices, because he did those from heart. You can tell when he speaks. So that's where he speaks from. So thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
Councilmember Glenn Sylvester, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll make my comments very brief. I'm very familiar with all the organizations, to the recipients who have received the proclamation today. WSPA, definitely familiar, I don't forget. Jiu-Jitsu. You mentioned something that struck a bone in my body, and that's law enforcement. And I remember throughout my career in law enforcement, I would see the shops, and I said one day, but I never made it. I know you're probably going to say, oh, well, it's not too late. Yeah. I knew you were going to say that, but yeah, it's too late. Mr. Guerona, where did he go? Oh, no, is it Patrick? The gentleman with the Westlake shirt on?
That's Pat over there.
I wanted to say thank you so much for your speech. I can tell by your mannerisms and the things you say, you are very, very humble. And to allow passage of somebody else in front of you, I observed that. And not many folks probably didn't see that, but I did. And I wanted to point that out, how humble you are. So thank you for what you continue to do. Thank you for everyone who is here and the recipients for what you do. And I won't go into the chelogs because I'm definitely a client. So thank you all so much. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor Raventor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do have a special place in my heart for WSPA. And it seems to be around this time of the month, or December especially, when the Nutcracker performances go on. I remember I was privileged, along with Councilmember Manalo, to be involved in one of the roles there. And I cherish that moment, and I enjoy the opportunity to see how difficult and how really careful planning and organized a production takes. And the way you guys did it was just incredibly spot on, and it was seamless when the performance was had. And it's just one of those plays that really brings some heartfelt moments in people's lives. And the dancers that you produce, especially the young kids who can just perform spectacularly. I look forward every year to going to it, and this year in particular, now that we're sort of past COVID and we can have live performances. And so I commend you for keeping it going, even in some difficult times. And I want you to know that Daly City will have your back no matter what. So thank you.
Councilmember Jessalyn Manalo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I will echo that amazing choices for this year with WSPA and really the tremendous work that you all have done to really enrich the lives of our young people and to see them flourish and grow into amazing, phenomenal dancers and artists is really a gift that you've given to Daly City. Really, I think I had taken one course in the garage. Oh, microphone. Many moons ago with Jiu-Jitsu. And I don't know if it was about 20 years ago, I tried Jiu-Jitsu. And so with that, self-defense classes is so important, and also teaching the young people. Amazing choices. You make Daly City what it is. And for Filipino American History Month, I think it's so important for us to honor each and every one of you that bring forth this history within Daly City itself. You know, from what the mayor said, from the first landing in 1587, we have given through the farm workers movement with Larry Itliong and Philip Veracruz to the 1965 Immigration Act, where many of the nurses, doctors, engineers moved here to the United States. Today, we see how Filipino Americans have come and really made strides. Today, we have our Attorney General, Rob Bonta, as well as entertainment, Joe Coy, who is here, as well as our own Daly City Olympiad too. So with these accomplishments, we know that there are struggles and triumphs collectively. So happy Filipino American History Month to all. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember Manalo. I guess my just last words would be thank you for providing the service, mentorship, and planting the seeds for the young people. Because definitely, I think one thing that you all provide is being able to have these youth see themselves and seeing their potential and realizing their potential, that when they become older, even if they don't pursue dance or a martial art and competition, they could navigate the world with confidence and grace. And that's one thing that I've seen so far in terms of all the different students that have gone through your institutions. And I'm just in awe and honored that I get to know you all in different capacities, and thank you for accepting the proclamation. Thank you. All right, so moving along to approval of minutes. Can I get, go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, I have a correction on the minutes.
Okay.
Before we approve it. So under the minutes of September 12th, under the category of approval of the agenda, the very first sentence I would like to make modifications. And the very first sentence says, as read, it says Vice Mayor Buenaventura referred to an allegation of assault from Councilmember Manalo against a fellow council member. I think that the language needs to be changed to remove the word from and it says made by. And then it also should say the name of the council member, Pamela Di Giovanni. So I'm proposing that the modification be as follows. Vice Mayor Buenaventura referred to an allegation of assault made by council member Manalo against fellow council member Pamela Di Giovanni. That is consistent with the second paragraph of the minutes where it says Councilmember Manalo made an allegation of assault against Councilmember Di Giovanni, referring to an incident that occurred at City Hall in which Councilmember Manalo was later hospitalized. So that's my modification. With that, I'd make a motion to approve the minutes as modified.
So there's a motion. Is there a second?
Second?
Okay. All those in favor say, oh. All those in favor say aye?
Aye.
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 All right. Are there any other additions, modifications to the approval of the minutes from September 26, 2022? All right. All right, seeing none, can I get a motion to, oh, we already motioned the approval minutes, correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Look at that. Okay. All right. All right, so at this time, we have public appearances and communications. So I'm now opening up the general public comment. The portion of the agenda is available for, oh, I'm going to, yes, thank you. Okay, so can I also get a motion to approval of the agenda?
Motion to approve agenda?
Second?
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, now we're going to public appearances and communication. So I am now opening up the general comment. This portion of the agenda is available for public to address the city council on any issue that is not on the agenda. And in accordance with the Brown Act laws governing regular meetings, the city council is not authorized to speak to or take action on any other items in this meeting. Members of the public joining in person who submitted a speaker card may come up to the podium one at a time when their name is called. Members of the public joining by Zoom may click the raise hand feature to request to speak. For those joining by a phone, press *9 to raise your hand and *6 to unmute. When you hear your name called, you will receive a request to unmute your microphone. It is important to note that staff will announce the name of the last person whose hand was raised upon calling for public comment, and that person will be the last verbal comment. If any additional speakers queue up after the last called speaker, the mayor may continue to allow public comment if time allows. Otherwise, public comment may be emailed to cityclerk@dalycity.org to be added to the record and shared with the city council. All speakers will receive a maximum of 2 minutes to speak and may only speak once. When your 2 minutes have been reached, we ask you to wrap up your comments. Speakers not in compliance will have their microphone muted. Okay. So first speaker up to talk is Anthony Yoshida.
Thank you, Mayor. My name is Anthony Yoshida. First, I would like to say that I'm glad to see you, Councilmember Manalo. I hope you're doing well. I'm here to speak out about corruption and hate in the community. I have witnessed Councilmember D. Giovanni harass constituents, most recently at the vigil held just outside to remember the victims of the school shooting in Texas. Ms. D. Giovanni threatened to call the police on a constituent in attendance, and she did, with a Daly City police officer coming out at her request soon after. On the national level, we see racist and violent rhetoric coming from elected officials, and more often than not, our individual voices fail to address these issues. Tonight, though, many of us are gathered here to make it known that we will not allow violent, hateful rhetoric to spread here in Daly City. Councilmember D. Giovanni has used the police in an attempt to intimidate her own constituents, which she claims to serve, made racist comments against the Filipino community, and most recently, allegedly violently attacked one of our own elected officials. We will not be intimidated, and we will not sit by while racism is spewed out of the mouth by someone who is supposedly here to represent us. Tonight, I call for the resignation of Councilmember D. Giovanni. Thank you.
Thank you, Anthony. Next speaker we have is Lily Louie.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Vice Mayor, City Council members, and staff. Welcome back, and it's a pleasure to finally see all of you again. My name's Lily Louie, and I've been a Daly City resident for 40 years. I'd like to express my sincere thanks and appreciation to all our Daly City elected officials, police, and fire departments, and along with all the other Daly City departments and their staff that have kept our city safe and functioning during the height of COVID. They were so dedicated and went above and beyond the call of duty to serve our Daly City community. Oops, sorry, pages touch. I'm speaking for our council member, Jocelyn Manalo. I've known her for over 6 years when she started campaigning to run for Daly City council member. Jocelyn is a compassionate, thoughtful, and considerate person who cares about her Daly City community, current and future endeavors. She is also a family-oriented individual who cares and loves her family and friends. Thank you.
Thank you, Lily, for your comments. Next up, we have Mitchell Viniciguerra.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Mitchell Vinciguerra, and I'm a field representative for the Carpenters Local 217 here in San Mateo County. I'm here tonight to request that the City Council adopt labor standards. I hope you consider developing labor standards that include healthcare and apprenticeships. 1 out of 4, or 26% of construction workers in California lack health insurance. That's 2.5 times the rate for all California workers. These workers are sometimes reliant on emergency rooms, taxing an already overburdened medical system in our communities. Policies that require contractors to offer their workers' families health care will raise standards in the construction industry while also ensuring that employers who do offer health care can compete on a level playing field. Because of increased wages and lack of student debt, construction apprenticeship can be a better option for many young people than traditional undergraduate programs. Construction apprenticeship programs are a proven escalator to the middle class, training tens of thousands of construction workers every year at no cost to taxpayers, and policies that require the utilization of apprenticeships develop a pool of skilled labor in the local community who can work on future projects. We at NorCal Carpenters look forward to having a detailed conversation with each of you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mitchell, for your comments. The next speaker is Cheryl Gatuar.
Mayor, I'd like to follow up on my letter of complaint that I sent last year, September 2021. It's regarding Councilwoman Pamela Giovanni's public racist remarks made at Ceremony Mall Food Court. I was deeply concerned when this incident happened and moved fast to report it. For over a year, I have yet to receive a response. And for over a year now, I have become a target of Ms. DiGiovanni's endless intimidation, harassment, lies that damage my reputation and my prospects, and many times forcing me from an area where I have the lawful right to be. In 2 occasions, she falsely summoned police to have me removed here at City Hall from this very place I stand today. During the Jokoy ceremony, she whispered to an officer while pointing at me, and the officer said to me that I was not supposed to be here. Bystanders who saw what happened were confused, and eventually police allowed me to stay. The next incident was while we were here in discussion for the Seaton Town Hall. Councilwoman DiGiovanni started yelling, "Daly City Police, Daly City Police," and they came when summoned and questioned me and my friend. The next day, we received texts and phone calls, emails from police, nonstop. We couldn't work, and we didn't understand where they got our phone number. As we all know, Asians make up over 50% of the population in Daly City, and over 30% of which are Filipinos. I, for one, do not need an apology, but Councilwoman Di Giovanni needs to take accountability for the disrespect she has shown to the Filipino community. Daly City must move in a new direction, and that is not possible while racism and violence exists in City Hall. And until Councilwoman Pamela Di Giovanni resigns from her office immediately. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Cheryl. Next up is Fernando Montañez. Oh.
Good evening, City Council, Mr. Mayor. You know, time and time again, I've attended council meetings in the past, and instead of discussing important city business, I always have to speak out and demand accountability from council members like Pamela Di Giovanni for her aggressive, hostile behavior and bullying tactics. I remember last year when she made baseless allegations against the Saints and Sentinels projects and other Filipino organizations here in Daly City, claiming that they are doing illegal things and that the Filipinos are corrupt. The FPPC actually did their job and looked into these allegations and made an investigation, and they have found nothing. They have declared that these allegations were baseless and have fully exonerated then Mayor Manalo and those organizations. And yet, I have asked Councilmember Di Giovanni to apologize timely, time and time again, and yet nothing has been said. And then a year later, I found out that she has allegedly physically assaulted a Pinay council member in the halls of City Hall. This kind of bullying, this kind of violence should not be welcomed in these halls or in our community, period. I am no longer asking for an apology. I am now asking that she steps down from her position in council, that she fully stops campaigning for her re-election, because it's time that this community heals from those traumas. It's time that we bring back good governance back in Daly City. It is clear that she is unfit, unhinged, unqualified, and unelectable in City Council. And I wish that she would step down and get out of City Council. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Fernando. We have our next speaker, Anastasia Ragasa.
Good evening. I'm here today to speak on the character of Councilmember Pam Di Giovanni. Upon hearing about the violence that Councilmember Manalo faced not too long ago, I decided to come forward about a violent altercation that I experienced with Councilmember Di Giovanni in 2016. I served on the Library Board of Trustees as commissioner during that incident. My interactions with Councilmember Di Giovanni have been largely negative, often filled with passive-aggressive behavior and threats. At a political fundraiser in 2016, Councilmember Pam stood next to me during a group photo. She was holding several heavy-duty political signs in her hands. During the photos, she repeatedly put the signs in front of my face, blocking my face and blocking my view of the camera. She apologized, but continued blocking me in photos and invading my personal space. After telling her to stop several times, she hit me across the face in my jaw with the stack of signs, almost knocking me over. Additionally, as my duration as commissioner, she threatened me several times. One incident that stood out to me was when she pulled me to the side during a political event, saying, "You will be a great leader when it's your time." Not only was her tone menacing, but she continued insinuating to me that I was unfit to serve in my role. These attacks from Councilmember Di Giovanni gave me a lot of fear and trauma and was detrimental to my emergence in Daly City politics as a young leader. I'm speaking out tonight to stop this cycle of violence and bring awareness to the behavior of Councilmember Di Giovanni, because what happened to Councilmember Manalo was obviously not an isolated incident. This is not who we are in Daly City, and I believe that Councilmember Di Giovanni should resign. Thank you.
Thank you, Anastasia, for your words. Next speaker, Julian Chung.
Hello, my name is Julian Chung. I'm a local event organizer, and I'm here to provide testament to the character of Councilmember Manalo. I have known Jocelyn Manalo since she ran for Daly City Council. Jocelyn has always cultivated a reputation of devotion to public service. During my time organizing Bay Area community events, Jocelyn Manalo has always remained dutifully committed to Daly City and her community. Thank you.
Hey, Julian. Are there any other public comments? Okay, we have one more. Thank you, Nick. We have Maria Brizuela, if she could come.
Well, it's not Maria, it's Marie.
Marie, sorry about that, Marie.
That was close enough.
I'm so sorry.
I'm sitting here listening to a lot of this stuff, and I'm very disappointed that all of this is being said about Pamela. She has done an awful lot for our community. And if I knew that this was what was going to go on tonight, I would have brought all those people here. She has constantly helped, always, the fire department, the police department, and many other entities, because I've been with her. We've gone to all these things. And to sit here and say all these allegations, I am sorry, but this is awful. And I say, Pamela, do not resign. You have not, you're just being put in a situation that I'm embarrassed if this council would even consider this. Now, she'll run for election, and if she makes it, fine, and if she doesn't, fine. But remember, each one of you is going to run sometime. And I remember, Jocelyn, the first time I met you. Do you remember those days? We were in a picture together. We all supported you. We thought, great, this is wonderful. But you're not the same Jocelyn right now. I don't know what happened. But remember, if she wants to resign, that's her business. But for you guys to say you're going to vote her out, I've never seen that ever happen in Daly City or any other place. Nowhere. Nowhere. I don't understand this. So I think we better all think real close about what's going on here, because it's not going to end. And I'm just embarrassed. I mean, I know all you guys, and I've always respected all of you. But tonight I have very little respect for what you guys are doing. Let her run for office. If she makes it, fine. If she doesn't, fine. But remember, each of you are going to run one day. And I can't vote for any of you, so I can't, but I can sure talk to other people that I know. So please, consider what you're doing. This is outrageous.
Thank you for your words, Marie. Are there any other public comments? Can you fill out a card, please? Wait, that's coming up next. So after this next comment in person, I'm going to hand it over to staff. Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jeff Francisco. I'm here to, as a testament to Councilmember Jocelyn Manalo's character. I've known Councilmember Jocelyn Manalo since we were kids. We went to middle school together, and after that, we went to college together. We attended San Francisco State University, where I got to know her on a not just a personal level, but also as a mentor. She has served as an inspiration to a lot of Filipinos and a lot of young people while we attended that school. She was always an advocate for the community, especially for the Filipino American community. And even then when we were younger, since then, I've always witnessed her character to be someone who is never quick to anger. She has always been a positive person. Everyone loved her. She's full of joy. And she has always been someone who wanted to do better for the community. There's no surprise there that she became the mayor of Daly City. And in that, for this to have happened to her, it's just a shock to me that that Council Member Pam DiGiovanni is denying the allegations that she did anything, because I've never witnessed Jocelyn Manalo lie to anyone. And if anything, she's not one to start conflict with anyone. She's always someone who exudes positivity and a character for someone who who is also a God-fearing woman. I've known her family for years. She's always attended church. She's always been someone who tries to spread positivity in the community around her. And if you ask any of her friends, which she has a lot of friends who she continued to maintain those relationships with until now, it's because of who she is as a person. Thank you for letting me speak tonight.
Thank you, Jeff. I'll now turn it over to staff to moderate the public comment for our virtual attendees. I believe we have about 13 on deck.
Thanks, Mayor. We have 13 hands raised. We have 2 with the same name as last called speaker, so possibly a technical difficulty, but we'll check. Luis Landos will be the last person called. When you hear your name called, you will be sent a request to unmute your microphone. For those joining by phone, press *6 to unmute. First speaker is Stephanie.
Yes, hi, can you hear me okay?
We can hear you.
Okay, great. Good evening, City Council. My name is Stephanie, and I am coming forward as a concerned community member. I'm Pinay American and have been working and living in Daly City for over 40 years. I'm completely disheartened and having to rise up yet again over a year later to discover another incident of alleged violence upon our community, specifically a physical assault against Councilmember Jocelyn Manalo by Councilmember Pamela DiGiovanni. Where is the accountability? Dating back to September 2021's meeting, which demonstrated a clear lack of ethical order of a functioning city council, I'm disappointed by the consistent unprofessional conduct enacted by Councilmember DiGiovanni. She had displayed inconclusive accusations of a conflict of interest and financial impropriety implicating not only Mayor Manalo at the time, but also local trusted Filipino community organizations. But this goes beyond these incidents and quote-unquote political motivation. As a community member, it does not feel safe to know that there are people in power that are not being cognizant of the harmful impact of their actions. It needs to be addressed on a systemic level of recognizing what is actually being played out, perpetuating systems of oppression based on white privilege and white supremacist values. This is not just about the Filipino OX community, but all marginalized communities who do not speak out in fear of being silenced and discouraged by a system that has historically not addressed the harm caused by the status quo, cultivating a community that does not feel safe. As a constituency, we deserve to have any political official, including Councilmember DiGiovanni, held with the same standards of accountability whenever there is a misuse of a public platform, any alleged physical attacks within the council, and a rupture of trust amongst the general community concerned of how effective our leadership has addressed these situations. My hope is that there's not only an internal and active investigations of these incidents, but a more conscious, collaborative, and reimagining an actionable approach of how to respond to these situations that impact our community. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Next, we have a user by phone. Please press *6 to unmute. Caller by phone, press *6 to unmute.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Your 2 minutes will begin.
Great, thank you. Just wanted to call and thank the mayor and the vice mayor and the city council members tonight for moving the public comment part to the front of the meeting. That makes it a lot easier for us folks with family to attend and participate. So thank you. That's my comment. Thank you.
Next, we have Christy.
Hello, good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to speak.
I am a very concerned community member who wants to express that violence in any form should have no place in any organization or anywhere for that matter, let alone City Council. So when I heard the news about Council Member Manalo's experience of being assaulted, I was shocked. I truly hope this matter is being seriously investigated and brought to a just resolution. Like many folks, I saw the meeting the evening after this reportedly happened, and Council Member Di Giovanni's response showed such a lack of compassion. I mean, basic humanity for a distraught colleague. I don't care if this was a misperception or if there was, anyone who sees someone in that level of distress, and when someone is as vulnerable as Councilmember Manalo was in that moment, this was a chance to show humanity towards someone clearly in distress and distraught, but instead this was met with such indifference. And this indifference has been seen before when Councilmember Di Giovanni, without any evidence, falsely accused several Filipino American organizations of financial impropriety about a year ago, September 2021. And these orgs came together for an effort called Saints and Sentinels at the height of the anti-Asian attacks. And I was part of that effort. And for her to make false allegations was so harmful. And when it was found that there was no impropriety at all, she could have reached out to the organizations, to us, that she falsely accused, and to apologize or make things right. Yet she did nothing, basically treating us, these orgs and community leaders, like we're invisible. And during these trying times, we need leaders that seek to provide solutions and be a uniting force in the community, and who listens to all community members, not just select community members in your corner or your supporters. Across the board, if you are a true leader, you would listen to everyone, not a leader who picks and chooses who to respond to or when it suits or benefits them. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Next, we have Henry.
Oh, sorry. Good evening, councillors. My name is Henry Kornilowicz. I'm the Vice President of the South of Market Business Association. I've known Councillor Manalo when she was working on getting the new building built by 5M next to the Conical building. And she really worked hard to do that. She had to reach out to the community to make that happen. It takes a lot of work to do that. And it takes someone who understands people to be able to listen to them and be able to communicate with them to get things done. Since then, she's, by the way, this building is now built, and one of the things about it is that it included this beautiful, gorgeous park, and it's sort of a tiny, small place, but you feel like you're in a village. It's just gorgeous. It really, really is. And I commend Councillor Manalo who sort of helped this happen. She's also been on the board of the South of Market Business Association, and she puts so much effort and work into it. She's very understanding, compassionate, friendly, listens to issues that come up in our association. We recently had the Sunday Streets, and she was out there helping us with that. I don't know how she does it. She's just amazing. Here she's got these two young kids. She's a councillor with the Daly City, and then she's in San Francisco. Councillor Manalo, you're the best. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Next, we have Lorenzo.
Good evening, council members. I am Lorenzo Listana, a community resident. I personally know Councilmember Manalo as a longtime community worker in South of Market in San Francisco, because I'm also a community organizer in the Tenderloin. So I met her and I worked with her a long time. So I'm here tonight to condemn the act of violence and assault against Councilmember Manalo. But many Filipinos view this assault as against all of us, all Filipinos. I share Council members Manalo's hurt and trauma that may have caused her sleepless nights. This type of violence is unacceptable, especially inside the City Hall. So I ask this council to please investigate it thoroughly and make Council Member Di Giovanni accountable for her actions. I ask the Daly City Council if it is possible to suspend immediately Councilmember Di Giovanni or for her to resign as soon as possible. Racism and violence must be condemned. Thank you. I yield my time.
Thank you for your comments. Next, we have Rob.
Hello, hey folks, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Perfect, hi. Good evening, everybody. My name is Rob Chua. Happy Filipino American History Month. A month, by the way, that I want to especially feel compelled to stand in my power. Thank you to the Mayor, Das Magwal, and council members and staff for having me today. I'm speaking today as an individual who's concerned about the extremely serious allegations levied against Councilmember Di Giovanni. I felt super compelled to speak my piece today. And I want to start off by saying I'm saddened by the divisions that have been steadily growing on this council during a time when we have an historic opportunity to be unified around issues and policies to help empower us. We're divided, it seems. And also sadly that we have to address this issue on a day that we're celebrating youth in the arts and organizations that make up the fabric of our community. I want to applaud the bravery of Councilmember Justin Manalo in speaking out about what happened to you. I believe you, sis, and so many in the community do. And while there's an investigation underway that we eagerly await the results of, I believe there is much that can be done to satisfy the demands of the community for transparency. What we're hearing from the community is that there's a pattern of behavior that does not fit the actions of an elected official to govern and set policy, that patterns of bias and anti-Filipino rhetoric and sentiment have been witnessed by people that I tend to trust. As we learned from the disconcerting news from electeds in Los Angeles, words matter because they frame the actions. If that is the case, it calls into question the actions and decisions of Councilmember Di Giovanni. So I recommend that your administration's investigations expand their scope to include an interrogation into systemic bias. Everything must be called into question. We ask that law enforcement, Daly City PD, and San Mateo County District Attorney's Office continue to treat this case with the utmost care and intention. We're not moving on from this until we have some accountability. That's all. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your comments. Next, we have Elmira.
Okay.
We can hear you. Go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you.
My name is Elmira Lagundi, and I used to be a Daly City resident before, but now I live in San Francisco. I know Mayor Jocelyn Manalo since she is working in San Francisco with us seniors, and she is a very compassionate person. So now I like to get a further investigation on these incidents that we should not tolerate against Asians. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Next, we have a caller by phone. Please press *6 to unmute.
Hello, so my name is John Daly. I think we sent you guys a couple emails. It's been a little while. We haven't heard any word about the investigation. And I always say in this country, you're innocent until proven guilty. That's really important. I don't know what the proof these other individuals have that Councilwoman Di Giovanni did this, but definitely do want to understand. Having a problem with Ray Buenaventura. I believe Ray Buenaventura is behind a lot of these things. If you notice him in the September 26th hearing, he seems to be rather happy that these allegations come forward. Again, this is stuff that should be behind closed doors. This is what I consider to be dirty laundry. This should have been resolved back with Tom, the city manager, 2 weeks ago. So that's another issue. Tom, we've yet to hear back. So you're innocent until proven guilty. Where's the proof? Where's the evidence? Where's the police report? Chief Christensen, I don't know if you have a police report, if it's she said or not, but we need to get this resolved. Dave Canepa, who's running for Congress, is sitting there giving his opinions in the paper, who really isn't cool because you're convicting somebody without proof. You need proof in this country. You can't base your You can't base a conviction on feelings rather than facts. And tears do not work over the truth. You need to find out the truth. Somebody on council is lying. We need to determine who that is. We have no idea. One person says the police it happened. The other person says it did not happen. So that's a huge issue of trust right now. And then obviously, as I mentioned, Ray, I believe you're a catalyst in this situation. So somebody needs to come forward. You need to have a press conference. We just want the truth. We want to be fair. We don't want to judge people without all the facts coming out. So, I spoke up about Mr. Allen being killed. So pretty sure I'm not a racist. In fact, I called for everyone's resignation when Mr. Allen was killed. So hopefully that describes our standpoint. Also, we need to get rid of 2 people in the rec team. I sent you an email on that, Tom. We need more accountability and transparency. Hats off to the police department. You have a very tough job. You need to determine who's lying and who's not. Thanks.
Thank you for your comments. Next, we have Sug.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Oh, good evening, everyone. My name is LaRonda Smith, better known as Shug. And I had an event center at Shug's Event Center for over 10 years in Daly City at 22 Hillcrest Drive. I met Pam about 6 or 7 years ago, and she befriended me and said that we were going to be friends for life. Well, it didn't end that way. And my spirit is grieved to see what has happened to Jocelyn. I feel that this is a very serious matter and that something needs to be done about it. I could tell you about a few instances that I had with Pam, but one I want to talk about tonight is I had an R&B group called the Delphonics at my venue, and Glenn Sylvester and his wife were seated in the front VIP section. And I allowed, at that time, Mayor Sylvester to speak and did not allow Pamela to do her campaign speech. She was furious at me. He then said to me, why did they get the front seat? Is it because they're Black? My response to her was, yes, because they're Black. When that really wasn't the case. They paid $50 each for their seats. This was the last time Pamela has spoken to me as if I did something to her. I feel that Pamela is a racist, and she feels as if she is superior to others. She needs to vacate her seat immediately. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Next, we have Dory. Dory, if you're joining by phone, press *6 to unmute.
Unmute. Okay. Okay, can you hear me now?
We can hear you now.
Okay, sorry about that. All right. Good evening, everyone. Honorable Council members. First of all, I would like to appreciate Council Member Giovanni, Pamela Giovanni, by the way, for appointing me as an Arts and Culture Commissioner. But I just let her know that I'm not her servant. She has no right to yell or verbally abuse me in front of the public. During the Jokoy event in City Hall Council member, she was yelling and very, ordering me like she wants to sit somebody, the elected officer, in front, and I don't have no problem for that. And then this Thursday, during the funeral of my friend, she's insulting me again in front of my friend on the reception regarding about the balloons. And if it is happened that the wife of that deceased are very thankful for what I did for that funeral service. So please, Councilwoman Pamela Giovanni, be professional and respectful to others, especially to the Filipino citizen. As your constituent or the voters said, this is only from them, the quote, "We are your boss," okay? That's it. Thank you, everyone. I'm proud being a Daly City resident.
Thank you for your comments. We have last called speaker, Lewis. Lewis, if you're joining by phone, press *6 to unmute.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Good evening, honorable representatives of the council members of Daly City. I'm a man of peace and a love to all the people. I was raised in Daly City all my life. I've met each and one of you. You guys have something special in my heart, no matter what the case is. But I'm saddened by what's been happening lately, and I want to share something that happened with me and Pan before. I came to speak one time because Pam once slapped me on my face on the day that my mother had passed away. We were helping Jocelyn for her campaign. Over time, we experienced an approach from her. Over time, it was very inappropriate and led us to disconnect the communication we had. Even after becoming council, everything just changed. Any council member of the Daly City should never approach wrong or violent acts to one of the people or any person or individuals. These actions are making history is very wrong for the children, teenagers, everyone, every nationality. Every nationality should be treated equal. This community is not trying to say we hate you. No, this community is saying we love the community, we love the people. But we're not here to hear directions from someone to lead us in different directions. We're here for that one community. From this day forward, I cannot see you, Pam, as a council member. With this behavior, this should be reviewed by further actions and continue. Please, Pam, it's time for you to reconsider all these actions as happened within all these people. It's time to let go of that chair. I think you need help.
Thank you for your comments. That concludes public comment.
Thank you, Leilani, for facilitating our virtual comments. Moving right along to our consent agenda. Are there any agenda items under the consent agenda that my colleagues want to pull to discuss?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Number 9, number 11, and number 12, please.
So number 9, 11, and 12?
Please, thank you.
Any other?
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to pull item number 7.
Okay. We have 7, 9, 11, and 12. Okay. All right. So I want to have a motion to approve the consent agenda, but pulling items 7, 9, 11, and 12. Can I get a motion?
Glenn Sylvester, I'll make the motion.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay. So agenda number 7, adopt resolution in support of the caution against racial and exploitive non-emergencies, aka the Karen Act. So I'll go ahead and hand it over to staff.
Yeah, thank you.
No.
Test. Good? Okay. Honorable Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council members, item 7 is before you tonight. This item was continued from the September 26th council meeting. It was on request by council to consider the adoption of a resolution in support of the Caution Against Racially and Exploitive Non-Emergencies, the Karen Act. At this point, I'd like to turn it over to council for consideration, the mayor, for discussion.
All right. So with that, I'll go ahead and open it up to my colleagues for questions or comments.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to first start off. Has anyone reviewed Penal Code Section 148.3?
No.
I take that that's a no? Okay. Has anyone had the opportunity to review 148.5A of the Penal Code?
No.
I take that as a no as well. Has anyone had the opportunity to review Attorney General's Rob Bonta's AB 1550?
I have.
You have? No? Okay. I have read this proposed ordinance, and I'd like to offer the following. We took an oath of office, and in that oath was that we will abide by the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California. 148.3 of the Penal Code, which is current law on the books, pertains to the falsely reporting of an emergency. It can be prosecuted as a misdemeanor or a felony. And it only applies if an individual reports a false emergency, knowing that responders could face bodily injury or death. This now brings me to 148.5 of the Penal Code. Every person who reports to a peace officer listed in sections 830.1 or 830.2. The 830 defines what is classified as a peace officer. Our police officers in Daly City comes under the section of 830.2. If you report to a district attorney or deputy district attorney that a felony or a misdemeanor has been committed, knowing the report to be false, is guilty of a misdemeanor. Attorney General Rob Bonta's AB 1550 goes even further to include if it's done against a person of color. Also included was an enhancement under 422.5 of the Penal Code, which states, a person falsely reported by an individual is in violation of that section, and it could be classified, they could be classified, the victim, as a victim of a crime, to which there is restitution from the state if you are found guilty. Under Section 5 of that same statute, there is no reimbursement is required by this act of the California Constitution, because the only costs that may be incurred by a local agency or school district creates a new crime of infraction, eliminates the crime or infraction, or charges the penalty for a crime, infraction, meaning of the section 17556 of the Governor's Code. I strongly support moving forward with this resolution However, I have issues with the last paragraph of this issue, which indicates that a victim and the city should provide a mechanism for that victim to receive redress. If it were to be taken that far, and by passing of this resolution, that redress would consist of a civil matter to which the city should not be a part of any civil matter. Fines can range in a civil matter anywhere from $250 to $10,000. So I have no problems in voting for this resolution. However, I ask that you take out the city's involvement in helping a victim obtain redress, which is now a civil matter. That's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember Glenn Sylvester. Councilmember Manalo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for the opportunity to speak this evening. I am in full support of this resolution, and just for clarification, it's actually not an ordinance, but a resolution that's in front of us today. I do want to add some amendments, if I may. Within this, I think that not only within our law enforcement, I think we should include all city departments within the city of Daly City. You know, whether there's is an incidence of calling on individuals within, for example, I know there may have been incidents where people may call on particularly the building department, or is it, you know, I think that this measure should go across the board. And if we add all departments across the city of Daly City, I think that it also is a signal to residents or other people in Daly City that may call on any frivolous, you know, on something frivolous, right? But when I look at this actually also frees up the time of our Daly City Police Department in regards to ensuring they respond to real criminal activity. So that's what in this Karen Act, I think that we should also add other departments.
Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Councilmember Manalo. Councilmember DiGiovanni.
Yeah, thank you. I too support a lot of this and ask that amended to this, because definitely anyone with false allegations should be held accountable. That is definitely something that is very important, and is giving a penal code along with that, making any false allegations. But with that in our community, as we know we have a diverse community, I would like to add to it, not just, of course, we know people of color, which is extremely important, and systemically, and history shows that they need to be protected. But also we have Sikhs, we have Muslims, we have Jewish people, and to consider other ethnicities as well, to make sure it's inclusive, that if any false allegations are done, that also includes that. Because even on 9/11, even God forbid we have another one, that happened where there was a mistake between the Muslim and the Sikh, and it cost them their life. So I would like to ask if we could also include all ethnicities, as far as whether it's Sikhs, Muslims, Jews, or any others, because that is inclusive, and we need to be inclusive when it comes to false allegations and using up our police time.
Mr. Mayor, if I may.
Councilmember Manalo.
Yeah, if the resolution is read, it actually includes all ethnicities and races if the resolution is read.
Mr. Mayor.
I think it
I think it says in the first paragraph.
yes, if you could,
I did read the first paragraph, but Mr. Mayor, but I want to make sure when it moved down to all the sections, that it's included in all the sections. As long as that's the language that goes with it.
Well, maybe we can,
Just to clarify, maybe Rose could clarify.
Rose, would you like to clarify? I believe.
please do.
And Rose, would you please, when you, about the last paragraph about monetary, or whatever the last paragraph.
I'm trying to capture a little bit of the amendments right now. So the entire Karen Act encompasses all of the races, color, and ethnicities within the first paragraph. So it's written in a sense that that first whereas would apply to the entire resolution.
Okay.
So it wouldn't be necessary to add it in each of the whereases simply because the first whereas would mean that the entire resolution applies to all of ethnicities, races, genders, national origin, so it's encompassing
Right.
all.
So I do understand that the first one, because sometimes when you have a resolution, as it goes down, it dilutes it. So you're saying it's strong enough at the top that it's inclusive of all of that, the body of it.
Right, because the first whereas basically describes and encompasses who would be covered under the resolution.
Okay, as long as it's covered all the way through.
Yes.
Yes, because I'm definitely against false allegations and taking up our police time. Thank you.
Sure.
Vice Mayor?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm in full support of the resolution as written with the amendment of Ms. Manalo regarding all the other departments. I do disagree with any amendment to take out the last paragraph. I think that to take out a paragraph when it affects the victims of these kind of discriminatory practices that's flawed. To try to, I mean, if the whole reason what we're doing is to try to prevent these kind of calls and putting people in jeopardy because of these kind of discriminatory, prejudicial, exploitive, racially motivated actions, I think the victim of that should be offered something in terms of this resolution to be able to point to, look, this is what happened to me. I'm the victim. I should have a cause of action. And we're not, as the city, paying for anything. We're just saying this is a resolution, not an ordinance, but a resolution affirming our commitment to stand with you as a victim of discrimination. So I see no reason why we need to take it out. In fact, I think we absolutely need to keep it in. Thank you.
Rebuttal, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, my colleagues, for all your different comments. The question I have, and I'll apply this to the city attorney, if somebody walks into the planning division or somebody calls the planning division and indicates that there is some illegal work going on across the street from their home, and subsequently, if I'm not mistaken, planning division will send someone out, such as a code enforcement officer, and he or she will verify if work is actually taking place without a permit. If there is a permit on file, then all is good. However, if there is no permit on file, then we have a violation of a city ordinance pertaining to work without a permit. So my question is, who is tasked with performing an investigation to determine if a false report was made? Would it be our police department to conduct that investigation? They definitely do not fall within the provisions of 148.3 or 148.5 of the Penal Code, and it definitely doesn't come under provisions of AB 1550. So how are we going to extend this resolution to include all departments? If somebody went to the city clerk and says, you should not give a passport to that particular person, well, is that considered a false report? And then to continue to say, what is the civil redress? Is the city going to provide legal services for someone who has now been identified as a victim? What kind of legal resources would the victim have if they did not violate any statute of the California Penal Code or AB 1550, but a resolution that's passed by the council? I really feel that passing this resolution is threading on the fine line between what is wrong criminally and what is wrong civilly. And the city should not be involved in that aspect, with the exception, if you violate the Penal Code section, you are now subject to the provisions of the state of California. If you don't like the Penal Code sections on file, then there are mechanisms to work through to change those current Penal Code statutes. Yes, we need such an ordinance such as this, but I remain totally against the city getting involved in any further civil matters. When you talk about a civil matter, it's a tort against another individual. When you talk about a criminal matter, it's a tort against the state of California. That's your difference there. Thank you.
Councilmember DiGiovanni.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would just like to ask Rose, for what he explained, would you explain it to us, and would that indeed cross over to civil, and what happens to the city, and how are we going to redress this as a city? Are we going to provide legal resources to please at least address what Councilmember Sylvester spoke about?
The action before you this evening is a resolution in support. It doesn't have any kind of enforcement, civilly or criminal. Or basically, it's a statement by the council in what they would foresee as support under the Karen Act. So there's no enforcement. We wouldn't be creating a civil action nor a criminal action by having the resolution before the council approved. It would just be in support to the extent that there are civil remedies as well as criminal remedies. With the statement that the council is making through this is that they support that and that they take action in supporting that we wouldn't have any discriminatory acts or false actions as a result of this by resolution. But we do not create any civil remedies or a private cause of action by having this resolution before the council.
So by adding the departments is not really necessary, and in addition, what is the ramifications if the amendment of adding all departments? Then there's really no, if it's just a resolution and it doesn't bear any enforcement, why is it important to add all the departments? what changes would that cause? What would be the ramifications?
It's a resolution, so it would be a statement that the council is. That's basically what it would provide. It would be a statement of the council and their position as it relates to other departments as a part of the class of individuals that you would be looking at. But it's not an ordinance, it's not law, it's a statement.
And it doesn't add any more that our police have to do any more than what they already have to do, because they would have to, no matter what the false allegations were, they already have to do that under the law.
Correct.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, and rather than belabor this issue, Councilmember DiGiovanni, thank you for asking that appropriate question directly to the city attorney. Based upon the information I have received, I will no longer debate this issue. I'm in full support of it, based upon the information I've received. Thank you so much.
I as well.
All right, so I know there was a motion to include amendments for all city department by Councilmember Manalo.
A second.
And a second by Vice Mayor Buenaventura. Do we do this as a voice vote?
Given a debate, Mr. Mayor, roll call vote.
Oh, roll call vote. Okay, great. Thank you, Rose. The City Clerk.
Ms. DiGiovanni.
Aye.
Mr. Sylvester.
Glenn Sylvester, aye.
Mr. Buenaventura.
Aye.
Ms. Manalo.
Aye.
Dr. Ross.
Aye. So motion passes. Thank you, everyone. Okay, off to the next agenda item. Item number 9. Notice of completion for the Polaris Park Improvement Project Playground Equipment Installation. And I'll hand it over to the staff.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council. The item before you is a notice of completion for the Polaris Park Improvement Project Playground Equipment Installation. Staff recommends that the City Council authorize the filing of the notice of completion and accept the improvements completed in compliance with the agreement with Ross Recreation Equipment, Inc. for the purchase and installation of the new playground equipment and playground safety surface at Polaris Park. With that said, I'm here to answer any questions or talk about the project.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to pull this because it's a happy, exciting thing, and the things that you guys done. And when is our ribbon cutting for that, for an easy?
I believe it's November 4th.
November 4th, so everybody stay tuned. People say that we're always doing our parks, and we had that big plan done, and now it's taken a while, but thank you for all the hard work, and thank you, Mayor, for we pulled this, and to let people know that all the parks are important, and that so the children can have accessibility and families. So thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Are there any other comments? Seeing none.
Glenn Sylvester, I'll gladly make a motion to approve item number 10 on the consent agenda.
Number 9.
Number 9, I'm sorry.
Okay, there's a first and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion passes. Item number 11, set time and place of public hearing, proposed adoption of ordinance for unlawful possession of catalytic converters.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members. This evening before you is a request to propose adoption of an ordinance for unlawful possession of catalytic converters. Staff is recommending that City Council set October 24th, 2022 during the regularly scheduled council meeting. Its time and place of public hearing for first reading of the proposed adoption of an ordinance for the unlawful possession of catalytic converters. Catalytic converter thefts have become one of the most lucrative crimes. The vehicle emissions part can be recycled for valuable metals within the converter or sold back to repair shops, acting as a fence for the stolen property. Citizens of Daly City have been victimized by what is a difficult crime to combat, costing them thousands of dollars and extensive time away from personal and professional lives while coordinating repairs. The Daly City Police Department took 90 catalytic converter thefts in 2020, 182 in 2021, and are on pace to average a similar number of thefts in 2022, with 149 cases already this year. Criminal statutes for tampering with a vehicle or possession of stolen property exist, but both require cooperating or additional evidence to arrest for prosecution. It is possible for an officer to encounter a subject with what appears to be an unlawfully possessed catalytic converter. Without an identified victim or additional evidence, there is little an officer can do to arrest or confiscate that item. The proposed Daly City ordinance would make it unlawful to possess what could be articulated as a stolen catalytic converter. The officer could confiscate the item and cite the individual for municipal code, heard before a court at a hearing with a potential fine up to $1,000. Staff believes this ordinance will provide an enforcement tool to what has become significant strain on our community. Staff is recommending that council set the October 24th, 2022 date during the regular scheduled council meeting as the time and place for the initial public hearing to review and introduce the ordinance. Staff is available for any questions.
Thank you.
I just want to thank you for working on it, and thank the South City for the first ones that really did this, and thanking them for reaching out to me, because we had our catalytic converters. They are targeting our seniors, and then when you talk about our diverse population economically, to try to keep paying the insurance, and even at our Fontana senior places where they have to park on the street, I know that there's several that have been targeted more than one time. So this is just a tool in the toolbox, and that to let people that know that it's coming, and that there is something, and that I appreciate you guys working on it. Thank you to you as well, and to Rose. So thank you. Looking forward to it.
Mr. Mayor?
Thank you, Mayor.
Let me go. Okay. Councilmember Sylvester.
Thank you, Mayor. Acting Chief Christensen, thank you so much. This has been sorely needed. I know approximately 2 months ago, I had made recommendation that we address this issue. I hope you stay tuned later on this evening, because I'm going to give a full report regarding catalytic converter thefts and possibly some ideas, because I think what's important is to protect our community, but I'll explain that later. But thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilmember Sylvester. Councilmember Manalo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to say thank you for your work on this, Acting Chief Christensen. I know that there have been many residents all across the city of Daly City, also around the BART station area, all around there, that continually, unfortunately, get their catalytic converters stolen. And so any way to ensure that this doesn't continue, I commend you and your staff. Thank you.
Vice Mayor Buenaventura.
I just had some questions about the theft of catalytic converters. How hard or easy is it to get a catalytic converter from a car?
It's very easy. All they need to do is jack up one side of the car with a floor jack, and then they get under typically with a battery-powered Sawzall or some type of cutting instrument, and they can have it removed within less than a minute.
Less than a minute. So I'm curious about when someone, let's say, removes a catalytic converter, and your presentation talked about articulable facts that it was basically a stolen catalytic converter. How does one determine it in an articulable way that that was stolen versus someone who just has their own catalytic converter?
So that'll come through some of the interview process about where they got it, if they have any receipts. The ordinance will lay some of that out as far as what's considered unlawful used catalytic converter as opposed to a new catalytic converter. But if they have any way to show proof of ownership, a lot of the times when we see these and we come across them relatively frequently, you can clearly tell that they've been cut off of the car. But if we can't track it back to the actual vehicle, so if we didn't see them in the process at the time stealing the catalytic converter, we've had to do it where we've had to go back to find the victim and match up the catalytic converter based on the cutoff marks to the vehicle itself.
So, as I understand it, the prosecution for having a catalytic converter is under the receiving stolen property statute or the tampering with a vehicle.
Yes.
How does this ordinance help you in terms of comparing to what is already in existence with those two statutes?
It just provides an enforcement tool for the time where we don't have the victim. We didn't see him take it off of the car. We just have a random traffic stop where there's two catalytic converters sitting in the back seat, which we've had.
I see.
In short of, not that we're not going to try and investigate and question and try and obtain additional information or see if we have any reports of recent, we may take as property under observation and see if we get any calls the next morning of a catalytic converter theft and try and match it up at that point and build a case. But if we don't, this just provides us an ordinance option to take the catalytic converter as property under observation and potentially cite for the municipal code.
And one more question. Does a catalytic converter have like, I don't know, like a serial number or something that you can say came from that car and this car, that kind of thing?
Some of them are now. They're putting VIN numbers on catalytic converters, try and trace them back to a car. Other services provide etching services, but a lot of the times what we'll find is they'll just scratch those identifiers off as well, making it difficult to identify.
And how much are they selling these for at the market?
Anywhere from a couple hundred to 1,500, 2,000, depending on the type of catalytic converter. Each vehicle requires a different style, and they have different components within, different metals, so they can get rather expensive.
Okay. Thank you. You've been very helpful.
Thank you, sir.
Go ahead.
Acting Chief Christensen, thank you so much for the update. And matter of fact, some of the questions from Councilmember Buenaventura is leading in the sense of some proposed ideas that I'm going to make mention about earlier. In addition, having dealt with law enforcement before in the curriculum, I urge my colleagues to pass this ordinance because it gives another tool in the officer's arsenal other than probable cause, which you must have probable cause in the first place to stop the vehicle. But if it's in plain sight or you come across it, this ordinance will give them the impetus to do a further investigation, and hopefully this will combat catalytic converter theft. Thank you very much, Assistant Chief Christensen. That's all I have.
All right. Are there any other comments or questions?
Glenn Sylvester, I'll make a motion that we approve this ordinance.
Second.
For reading.
Second.
Okay, so we have a first and a second. Ms. City Clerk, I guess we go ahead and
Just, if I may,
a roll
Mr. Mayor,
call.
this is just a set time and place, so.
Oh, set time and place.
We could
Okay.
just do a voice vote.
Okay.
That's right, I forgot we're in consent agenda. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Acting Chief Christensen, before you go, I'd like to compliment you on your pink patch.
Yeah.
That's in honor of breast awareness, breast cancer awareness. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, thank
That's
you.
what
Thank you, Acting Chief Christensen. Moving a lot ahead, on the agenda, we have award rejection of bidding contracts, so item number 14, reject. Oh, yeah.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor. I think the 12 of the TDM.
Oh, 12. Oh, yeah, here we go, sorry about that.
Sorry about that.
Item number 12, adopt resolution in support of City and Council Association Governments, CCAG, Transportation Demand Management Program. Go ahead, Tatum.
Being Honorable Mayor, members of the council, it's a pleasure to see you all in person. Getting a little public speaking adrenaline going on here. But anyway, this is a resolution brought before you this evening to support the City and County Association of Governments Transportation Demand Management Program. As you are all aware, CCAG is responsible for overseeing the San Mateo County Congestion Management Program. The TDM policy is an aspect of that. If you're not aware, transportation demand management refers to a set of policies and strategies that aim to reduce travel demand, particularly single occupant vehicles, as well as travel during peak hour to redistribute that travel. So reducing the demand for single occupant vehicles and shifting those trips to carpools, bicycles, pedestrians, and transit trips are ways to reduce congestion and make more efficient use of the existing transportation system. The CCAG TDM policy requires that local jurisdictions in San Mateo County notify CCAG of any new development project that is estimated to generate 100 average daily trips. CCAG has prepared a very useful checklist with a menu of TDM strategies. Staff will be presenting these to developers of larger projects, and the developer can go through the checklist and select the measures that are most suitable for their development. Staff will then inform CCAG of this checklist, and CCAG can work with them as well as with commute.org to see if those strategies will be effective. Once CCAG and commute.org have reviewed those, they will inform the city, and those TDM measures would become conditions of approval in the project. So staff has already reached out to CCAG staff to talk about how we can best implement this, and we're very hopeful that this will be a very easy process for staff to engage in. Thank you.
Thank you, Tatum. I'll open it up to my colleagues for comments or questions.
Just a quick one, just thanks for putting it on here, and Rose as well, and city manager and mayor, because this will help hopefully our climate and then the efficiency of the projects of the future for any of that. So thank you very much. Thanks, Tatum. Looking forward to it, and actually another tool for your toolbox too, like you need more, right? But thank you. And I think we're one of the first cities to do this. So.
Any other? Councilmember Manalo.
Yeah, thank you so much. Tatum, I think this is very exciting. I know that within any plan development that we have, this is extremely crucial to really get the analysis around transportation needs. And so it's exciting to see this on the docket this evening so that we have more efficiency, actually be able to provide the data. And TDMs are used all across the country during planning initiatives. And so I'm glad that we're doing that here in Daly City. So thank you.
Any other comments, questions from my colleagues? Can I get a motion to approve this item?
Motion to approve.
A motion.
Second.
We have second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tatum. All right, moving along. Agenda number 14, reject all bids for Muscle Rock sediment removal project. We have Director Chu.
Yes, thank you. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. Very nice to see everyone in person tonight. This item is to reject all bids for the Muscle Rock sediment removal project. The Muscle Rock sediment removal project would have removed approximately 1,500 cubic yards of sediment and other material from the beach area on the north side of Muscle Rock. The two proposals that we had received for the project on August 8th totaled bids of just under $498,000 and $508,000. However, based on recent geotechnical review and new information of the project area, as we discussed at the September 9th City Council study session, staff does not recommend moving forward with this project at this time. So in summary, staff recommends that the City Council reject all bids for the Muscle Rock sediment removal project and thus continue this project at this moment. That concludes my presentation. Happy to answer any questions council may have.
Thank you, Director Chu. Vice Mayor Bonaventura.
Director Chu, the two bids, are those the only two bids that ever came in?
That's correct.
Do you anticipate being able to get more than two the next time?
It's very challenging right now. We do as much outreach as we can. Right now, construction is very challenging. There's a lot of activity out there, but it just depends on timing and kind of the situation at hand.
Okay.
Sometimes we only get one bid, sometimes we're lucky.
And along with what I usually ask, which is I hope there is an outreach toward the small business, minority-owned businesses in an effort to get them involved in the process. Thank you, Director Chu. That's all. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Councilmember Glenn Sylvester.
Director Chu, I was listening to your words and you said something that caught my ear. The rejection of all bids is pending other issues that's going on at Muscle Rock. And correct me if I'm wrong, it'll be kind of like throwing money away because we have a greater issue at hand towards the erosion aspect of it. And I trust it's in good, capable hands that you and your staff are looking into resources, grants to address the more serious issue. Is that correct?
That is correct. We are actively moving forward in terms of some of the other studies and analysis that's needed for the higher priority areas, and we will continue to look for resources as available.
Thank you so much.
I just want to thank you because these are trying times for all of that. And I know that you try to do the best you can. And things, like you said, it's just not the time. And we have bigger issues with that area. So we appreciate all you do and everyone in your department. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
All right. Are there any other comments, questions? All right, seeing none, can I get a motion to go, a motion to reject this item?
Motion to reject item.
Second.
Okay. Let's see. Can we get a roll call vote, please?
Ms. Giovanni?
Aye.
Mr. Sylvester?
Glenn Sylvester, aye.
Mr. Buenaventura?
Aye.
Ms. Manalo?
Aye.
Dr. Rod?
Aye. Thank you, everyone. Moving on to item number 15, resolutions, developer selection authorization to prepare an agreement to negotiate exclusive for 1837 Unipero Serra Boulevard, Daly City, California. And there was a requesting motion to continue to October 24th, 2022. So I'll hand it over to Tatum. Sorry about that.
This item was to be presented at the September 26th council meeting and was moved to tonight's meeting. Unfortunately, we weren't able to have the full availability of consultants and developers, so we're requesting to ensure that we have all of their availability. We move this item to October 24th.
Okay. Thank you, Tatum, for all your hard work and trying to get all parties involved. Are there any questions, comments from?
I just have a question. So that's the only reason that because I thought we were going to have it tonight, is because of that?
We want to ensure that all parties can be
They were not able to come attend. Thank you. Thank you, Tatum. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilmember Manalo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I guess the question I have is, are they able to, both parties able to attend the date that you've mentioned?
We believe so. We don't have 100% confirmation.
Okay. Thank you. Just wondering.
So can I get a motion to move to continue to October 24th, 2022 meeting?
Glenn Sylvester, motion.
Okay, can I get a second?
Second.
I got a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Number 16, response to San Mateo County Civil Grand Jury Report. The other water worry. Is your water provider prepared for the big one? And we have Josh Cosgrove.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Mayor, Vice Mayor, and members of the City Council. This item tonight is seeking your review, any comments that you may have, and your approval of a response letter to the San Mateo County Civil Grand Jury. One of their reports this year was a review of the water agencies of San Mateo County and preparedness for a significant emergency like a large-scale earthquake that would impact water resources. Daly City met most of the findings and recommendations in the report, like we have at least 3 days of water storage in our system at all times. We have also at least 3 days of fuel at our critical facilities at all times. Two of the findings and recommendations we met partially, and those had to do with training. We have conducted many of the trainings that are required by our emergency response plan, except for a comprehensive tabletop exercise and an after-action report based on that exercise. Staff is working with our engineering consultant and a training consultant recommended by California Water Wastewater Agency Response Network, otherwise known as CalWARN, on the tabletop exercise and report. The exercise is scheduled for later this year, tentatively scheduled for November, so next month, and will be complete by the grand jury's deadline of March 31, 2023. Also, staff is working with San Mateo County on a countywide exercise to train for coordination of a large-scale emergency that impacts water supplies throughout the county, and this exercise is scheduled for early 2023. The recommended action tonight is to review, comment, and approve the formal response to the San Mateo County Civil Grand Jury Report titled, "The Other Water Worry, Is Your Water Provider Prepared for the Big One?" Thank you. I have with me Greg Kraus, Chief of Operations for the water system, Kevin McCarthy, who's Acting Assistant Director. We are happy to answer any of your questions or provide further information. And of course, our interim city manager is very experienced and knowledgeable of the water system as well. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Josh. I'd like to open it up to my colleagues. Do y'all have any questions or comments? No? Okay, seeing none, let's go ahead and get a motion to approve the recommendation. Can I get a motion?
Motion
To approve.
to approve.
Second.
Okay. Can I get a second, please?
Second.
A second from Councilmember Manalo. All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, moving along.
Thank you.
Thank you, Josh. Okay. Reports. Council committee reports. Item number 17. Are there any council committee reports?
Appointments, Mr. Mayor.
Oh my gosh. I'm like trying to fast forward through this. Appointments. Are there any appointments for the city council? Okay. Seeing none, go to proceed to item number 17, council committee reports. Any council committee reports? Seeing none, we'll go down to item number 18, city council reports. Are there any city council reports? Councilmember Glenn Sylvester.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, my colleagues, I've waited a long time to bring this information to you, which I think is very, very important. I attended Cal City's seminar in Long Beach approximately 1.5 months ago. And one of the sessions I went to was addressing the issues with Prop 47. And the issue with Prop 47 was passed by the voters, which reclassifies certain types of crimes from felonies to misdemeanors. The voters approved it, and it's law. What has transpired as a result of Prop 47 is the increase of thefts to include retail thefts, Cali converted thefts, and other types of crime. So what I learned was the 4 Ds. One is to dismantle. Organized retail crime is too big for any one community to combat on its own. The second D is to disrupt. The selling of stolen goods has become all too easy. The third D is to deter. Today, thieves view retail theft as a low-risk, high-reward crime. And the last D is divert. California rarely utilizes diversion. People deserve a second chance. Now, on September 26, Governor Newsom passed 2 bills pertaining to Cali converted thefts. One bill prevents any recycler from buying one. The other bill that was passed prevents people from buying one. I say that to say this. I've asked before that Daly City consider creating a task force. We need to get our communities involved, our victims, whoever so wants to participate, our retail stores, and even citizens. Because retail theft does not pertain only to Cali converters. We're also talking about package theft. And unbeknownst to me, and I'm hoping to get a report later on, UPS and FedEx will offer our police department tracking devices inside of those packages. Not all packages, because those tracking devices cost a lot of money. In the area of catalytic converter thefts, we have more bills coming down the pipe. And what's very important is technology. We have to establish a database. Who has to establish? Our police department, our auto body shops. A question came up earlier before is how do you identify a stolen catalytic converter? I'm recommending that all automobile shops in Daly City who wish to participate, we set up a fund, and this is just a recommendation, for Daly City residents only, that you can take your card into that shop, and that shop can etch something called an OAN, Owner's Applied Number. I think that would help tremendously. I think it can put Daly City on the map, and it's worth looking into. But who's going to pay for all of this? What I also learned, I'm almost done, the governor of California has expanded the California state budget of $346 million in the general fund for over 3 years. 85 million of that is going to be dispersed in 2024 and 2025 in competitive grants for law enforcement to address organized crime. 6 million in the general fund will be allocated in 2022 to 2023 and increasing to $15 million annually to the California Highway Patrol and to make permanent its organized retail theft task force. New task forces potentially include Central Valley, Stockton, and the Sacramento region. What about San Mateo? 6 million of the general fund is going to be giving out in 2024 to 2025, and up to 500,000 ongoing for the Department of Justice to support regional task forces addressing organized retail theft. And there's one more. 5 million ongoing general fund for the Department of Justice to continue leading anti-crime forces, including high-impact investigation teams, Los Angeles, interagency efforts, and task forces to combat human trafficking and gangs. So I think it should have been done yesterday, but I think Daly City should move together to create a task force and come up with some additional ideas and bring it before this council for consideration to see if it's doable. We have to do something soon, ladies and gentlemen. So that's all I have on that one subject, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Sylvester. I think that task force is something that is very essential. I have many close friends that have got their catalytic converters stolen, not just once, but twice. So we'll work together with our staff and we'll move forward with that.
Mr. Mayor, I have two other items if we're done with the retail task force, or if there are any other questions pertaining to my presentation.
Yes, any questions, comments?
I just want to say that's a great idea because the holidays are here, as we know, and I think that promotes a lot of people coming into our city, and that the crime rate and for giving our staff is limited. So great, thank you, Councilmember, and thank you, Mayor.
Great. Okay, I think that's about it.
That's it? Okay, I have two more items. They'll be very brief.
Go right ahead, Councilman.
I am making a recommendation that if we can agendize a follow-up with our Park and Rec Department. I received information that a nonprofit group or folks of the community are having problems using T.R. Policita Field. I've been told that, well, I advised the person, that should come from JESD, the school district. But the person told me you're deflecting. So if I can get an update, because I was told that that field is run through Daly City. And the last issue I have, again, is for Park and Rec. Over the past weekend, a 3-year-old child suffered a contusion at Gellert Park. The parks are made for all children, young and older. What happened in this particular case, the 3-year-old was bumped by an older child and subsequently fell against a pole. They sent me a picture, and the pole is green. What I'm recommending, a study be performed to determine if our park, especially Gellert Park, is safe for our younger children. If anything, a recommendation, maybe rubber padding or some sort of padding at a minimum of 36 inches so that we can address and ensure the safety of our younger children at the park, which is for all children. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor, and I thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilmember Glenn Sylvester, for your reports. Are there any other reports from my council members? Vice Mayor Buenaventura.
I would just like to commend the staff, the recreation staff, the arts and culture staff, and all the people really that were involved in our celebration this weekend at Kasayahan. I thought it was just a phenomenal success. And one of the indications for me was seeing all the food being basically sold out. I was trying to buy food and everything had those stickers on it over the food saying sold out. And then I just saw a lot of people really enjoying the outdoor, even though it was cold. The music was great. The lineup you guys put together was awesome. People were dancing. They were having a good time at the small brewery that was set up. And I just thought it was really well done event. And I want to just thank you all for putting it together and really just having, making people have an amazing time. And so, yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Councilmember Manalo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I also want to echo that the recreation staff has been doing a phenomenal job with Filipino American History Month and also with the Latinx Hispanic Heritage event at Gellert Park. I know that the recreation staff has been nonstop in providing these cultural events, but they have been tremendous. The Hispanic and Latinx Heritage Celebration, it was really packed as well with amazing cultural dances and just really wonderful vendors, as well as the Filipino American History Month event. Even on a foggy day, there were definitely a lot of folks from the beginning all the way until the end. And that just is a testament to all of the hard work the staff has done. I agree with the music and the food, and just a wonderful job well done on all fronts on the amazing cultural events that the recreation staff has done. So kudos, thank you.
As for me, I want to give a massive shout out to the producers and the directors of Lumpia 2, Lumpia with a Vengeance, Patricio Gensella. He was from Daly City, started off with home video with Lumpia 1 back in the 90s, and now is showing at Century and theaters across the nation. To see his dream come true from being a teen to now in a adult with kids and everything. It was pretty sensational to see their debut of their film back on September 29th. And I see Denise back there. Y'all had a very, very busy month. And I also want to shout out to you and all the staff for the senior gala. And it's been weekly, like every single week you all are doing something. So from the bottom of my heart, I'm just grateful for Park and Rec and everybody that's been putting all these events together. It's not easy at all as a person that does that with my organization. Capacity, just to do event after event after event. So, I hope we have the holidays and they could fall asleep and get some rest through those things. Councilmember Pamela DiGiovanni.
Yeah, I'd like to say also that senior event was pretty festive, and that seeing the seniors after all the COVID, and the last time that Pacelli was used was for the vaccination site. So it was like amazing, the transformation, the magician that you guys had, Denise, everybody that worked on it. I know that you guys have been there since 7 in the morning, and how you stood up, I don't never know, but it was amazing. The food was delicious by Opal. Shout out for her and the whole crew. And just to see the smile on the seniors' faces. Ready Wheels was bringing in seniors. So it made so that all the seniors could come and make it accessible. So it was really beautiful and spiritual for them. And then I have to say that the Phil Heritage was always great, to all the vendors and to the recreation. Again, you're all there early, you stay late, and you work with all the different groups, the nonprofits, and it was beautiful. And then I'd like to also recognize the fact that the Hispanic Heritage Month is still going, and we had a beautiful event at Gellert. Hope that expands again with such food, and that you guys include also the indigenous music. I noticed that at each of them. And then you also include pop, rap, whatever's modern. So it brings in a lot of different people. And also this month, I know a lot of people are celebrating Indigenous Day or Columbus Day. It is also Italian Heritage Month, and also Oktoberfest for the Austrians and the Germans in our community. And we want to celebrate everyone and be inclusive, and to let everybody know that no matter who you are, where you come from, you're included in Daly City, and we celebrate you. And hopefully we can have in the future things that continue on and expand from there, and let them know that we can bring that Italian heritage back as well. So thank you guys for everything you do, and please tell everyone over there. I know you will, Denise. Thank you.
Yes. Councilmember Glenn Sylvester.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Pam.
Oh, one more thing. So this Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So for all of us who have had either personal with breast cancer, or have loved ones we lost, or some that have survived, I want people to know there's a lot of resources out there. And that this month in particular, as Councilmember Sylvester alluded to, our police officers always go to the desk and purchase their pink patches, and they wear them proudly, because this raises money. It costs a lot of money. And if you're someone that has suffered and never had insurance, and it robs you of your life. So for all that we lost our loves and are there angels now, and the breast cancer survivors, and those, I tell women, please do not skip your mammograms. Please, it's so important. And if you don't have access, please contact our Daly City Partnership. Please, we can give you access for free mammograms. And it doesn't matter your status in this community, because everyone should get them screened early. Early detection is a must. And I think we've all been touched by someone we know or on a personal basis with breast cancer. So with that, prayers for the angels. Thank you, Sylvester. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you so much. I'd like to, as we near the close, to show appreciation to the staff, and primarily the IT staff,
Oh, yeah.
And as I'm looking at Zoom right now, the camera is focused on me. That takes quite a bit for the camera to be in conjunction with the microphone, and it focuses on the person that is speaking. If you have not done it right, you will see a picture of all 5 of us at one time, and one person could be speaking. That takes a lot. So I wanted to show appreciation to the staff for putting this meeting, our first meeting, back together. It's very, very important. I'd like to thank Leilani. For the past 2 years, I've been at home, and that speech, when it's time to speak, please raise your hand, and you'll be unmuted. And being here today felt like I'm still at home. So I felt very, very uncomfortable. And Mr. Piccolotti, I want to commend your staff for running a seamless meeting tonight. Thank you very much.
I concur as well. I know it's been a long time coming. I know we wanted to do this 2 months ago, 3 months ago, but you know, we weathered the storm. We took it step by step, breath by breath, and I just want to show my gratitude to the staff for putting this all together with the whole hybrid process here as well. I also want to, maybe we talk about this later, because when I was sitting at the senior gala event, I was able to break bread with longtime employee Angie Padilla, and I don't know, she'd probably be like, "What are you talking about, Rod?" But I would like to honor her at one of our council meetings as well, because she's been a rock for me since day one, and a rock for for all of us. And Angie, if you're out there, thank you for everything.
Yes.
And transitioning to, like, since also Indigenous Peoples Day, it's also World Mental Health Day as well. So be conscious, be gentle with ourselves, be graceful with others, and and anybody else have anything else to say?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to commend you for your leadership in pushing us to get to this place. I know you've been asking staff, and staff has executed for us to actually be here in person. It's been quite some time, and to be in front of one another is really, it's been too long. And so thank you for your leadership on that. I know that that's something that you've wanted us to be in chambers. Also wanted to share that working on with the interim city manager and in getting an art piece with Larry Leong over here for Filipino American History Month. And so really to honor his legacy and what he's done, and hopefully to host it from the 16th to the 22nd. And working on that, but to also continue to celebrate Filipino American History Month. But thank you so much, Mayor, for all that you've been doing. I definitely saw you rocking it out with Ruby Ibarra at Filipino American History Month. And it was amazing to have the youth and young people speak truth to power. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Manalo. Appreciate it. Yeah, so with that, if there's no other council city council reports, I'll move it off to staff. Are reading staff reports?
Yeah, thank you. Just want to say it was through the mayor's leadership and support and urging that we got here tonight, and I think staff responded. You can see that tonight. I think it's good to be back. It's good to see everyone. Behind the scene, behind the wall, is the ones that are making it happen. In addition to my staff, there's Cello and Matthew. Matthew's still back there, I believe, but they're working diligently to make this happen. So I'm glad they're able to do that. Glad to be here in person. It enhances not only having us here, but enhances the participation of the public, being able to be here and to be online. So I think that's a good thing for all of us. We'll look at the playground safety. We'll take a look at that for sure, and then the discussions on the task force. So I appreciate the acknowledgement of the rec department. Those events that I have been able to be at were outstanding, and they really worked hard at it. I got to see that firsthand. Not being here for so long, and then the last 8 weeks, and I can see the impact that they make on people's lives. It was incredible. So I appreciate that. And that's it. That's all I have. I just thank you. Good to see everybody here.
Thank you, Mr. Piccolotti. Next on agenda is our a journey in memory. I would like to open up to my council if you have anybody in mind to close.
I just have a couple. And then there was a stabbing in Las Vegas, and it was a random stabbing, and one happened to be DeGiovanni. So, and there were two that passed. So just to remind people that it doesn't matter what city you live in, and she was only 30 years old. So we don't never know. Life is short. So I think we should take into account that when we get up in the morning. So thank you very much, and I'd like to close in her memory. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember DeGiovanni. Any other of my colleagues have anybody to close on? Okay. Seeing none, let's offer a moment of silence. Meeting adjourned. Thank you for coming to our first in-person meeting since March of 2020. I'll see you all back in 2 weeks. Everybody be safe and get home safely, and those at home, rest well. Thank you, everyone. Good night.